So correlative conjunctions are useful for keeping our writing succinct, and they not only provide a succinct structure to say two things but also express how these two things are related to each other. And generally, dear students, correlative conjunctions do not cause much grief to the students or to its users. But there are some noteworthy issues associated with correlative conjunctions. Let's see what they are. And the first one is you need to be careful about the subject-verb agreement. So when the pairing either or neither nor features in the subject of a verb, the verb is singular if both the elements are singular. Let's see the example. So neither the inspector nor the constable was available for comment. So here both the elements, your inspector and the constable working as subjects, are singular here. So the verb was is singular, and using the verb would be wrong here. However, things get complicated if one of the elements is plural, because there are two conventions related to it. Let's look at what are those conventions. And the convention one is your proximity rule. And what does it say? It says that the element nearest the verb determines whether it is singular or plural verb would follow. Let's see how. So neither the inspector nor the constable were available for comment. Here your inspector and constables, the elements which was near to the verb was constable, so we used the plural verb. And the convention 2, what does it say? It is the logic rule, and it says if any of the elements are plural, the verb will be plural. So neither the inspectors nor the constable were available for comment. So the first element, inspectors, is plural here, so the verb is plural. This would be wrong using the proximity rule, because it is a logic rule which says that if any of the element is plural, the verb would be plural only. Right? Now, as a student, your question is always right that, ma'am, should we use proximity rule or logic rule if one of our element is plural? So, as a quick answer, I would say both are common, and pick one and be consistent with that. But there is far better answer I would like to give you here. Satisfy both the rules at once, that rule. And if one of your element, and what is that? If one of your element is plural, deliberately put it nearest to the verb. Let's see how. Either the budgies or the cat have to go. So budgies are small little parrots, right? So you cannot keep them together. So the writer is saying either the budgies or the cat have to go. So here one of the element, which is budgie, is plural, and I'm using cat, have to go under the logic rule, right? So how can I fix this problem? This is correct under the logic rule, but wrong under the proximity rule. How can I fix this? Let's see how I'm doing to fix this problem. So either the cat, I wrote car here, or the budgies have to go. So I deliberately put the budgies near my verb. So this is how we can satisfy both the situations. Put it deliberately. It's your way. It's your choice to write it down. Here the plural element is nearest to the verb, and this is now correct under both the rules. Right? You got to be a winner now. Let's move on. And this is, don't forget that neither nor plays a negative role. So you need to be aware that neither nor plays a negative role in your sentence, and you have to be careful about that, not to use the word not, because it will become a double negative, right? So it's an example which is a wrong sentence. We do not discuss neither the flooding nor the landslides. So it is an example of double negative. Remember that two negative things make a positive thing from your mathematics. So the example above mean that flooding and landslide were discussed, which would have been not the intended meaning here. So it is wrong. How can you fix this problem? Here are two better options. We discussed neither the flooding nor the landslide, or you could say we didn't discuss either the flooding or the landslides issues. So this is how we need to remember that if you are using your correlative conjunction neither or nor, do not use the word not in your sentence, because they represent the negation itself. So it would be wrong to use the double negative in a sentence, because I told you negative makes the things positive. So let's move on to our another problem, that is again which you remember from your the coordinating conjunction, that is faulty parallelism. So here also it is easy to make parallelism errors with clauses that are joined by correlative conjunctions. So here is an example. My mom will either buy a sari or a suit. Can you spot the problem here? No. So let's make a parallelism stack here. How we are going to stack this problem in the parallel stack, by putting them in the parallel stack. So the parallelism stack shows that elements made parallel by conjunctions are not really the same thing. See, mom will either buy a sari or a suit. So the problem is that the first element, buy a sari, is a verb phrase, and the second element, a suit, is a noun phrase. So once we see the problem, is we can find several ways to fix it. For example, you could do this way. My mom either buy a sari or buy a suit. So what are you doing it? You are making parallel verb phrases here. And we can also make parallel noun phrases like this way, the second way. My mom will buy either a sari or a suit. So any of these solution is fine. The real challenge is seeing the faulty parallelism problem. So it is quite often found that children make mistakes when they use the correlative conjunctions, and they make faulty parallelism problems. So avoid doing that. Happy studies. Bye bye.